So there's been a narrative in the NBA that the offseason is even more interesting than the actual season. Yeah, there's some truth to that, but that's a little bit of a reach. But for one thing's for sure, this offseason is off to a better start than we really could have imagined. And we didn't even hit free agency yet. According to sources, Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston, and it looks like James Harden might be out as well. The Rockets need to do this. They need to blow this whole thing up, and they need to rebuild and start from scratch. Their championship window was very small, and it's officially official. Their championship window is closed. Their championship window was basically in 2018 when they won 66 games, had the number one seed in the Western Conference. James Harden won the scoring title and league MVP, pushed the Warriors 7 games before Chris Paul's hamstring went out in Game 5. That was basically their only opportunity to win a championship. Yeah, you could argue in 2019 when Kevin Durant's calf went out in the Western Conference semifinals, that would have been an opportunity to make a statement game and get an upset win against the Warriors. That didn't happen. And in 2020, a lot of people tried telling me that the Rockets were title contenders, that Robert Covington was going to shut down Anthony Davis, that after the Rockets took a 1-0 lead, they were going to beat the Lakers. Stop. James Harden is just not that dude. He's a great player. He's a superstar. I'm always the one defending him. I don't think he's that guy. And Russell Westbrook, as great as his stats may look, as great as the numbers may look, he honestly is a liability. I got to be completely honest. There's some things he does that really hurts every single team he's on. But that's besides the point. The Rockets need to blow this whole thing up. Their championship window is over. Start from scratch. Rebuild. Now, we know what the big news is. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, Harden is open to a trade to the Brooklyn Nets. Let me be very clear, and I will tell you right now. The Brooklyn Nets will not and should not trade for James Harden. Let's look realistically here. What do the Nets have to offer the Rockets to actually get this trade? James Harden is a 4-time scoring champion, a league MVP, bona fide as a top 5 to 7 player in the NBA. What do they have to offer? Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, and the Rockets are looking to rebuild. So what do they actually have to offer where the Rockets are going to bite on that? I really can't think of a trade scenario. I can't. And obviously, without saying, you're not trading Kyrie Irving and you're not trading Kevin Durant. That's obvious. That's very obvious. But let's hypothetically look. If James Harden made his way to Brooklyn some way, somehow, which I don't think is possible, the Nets would then have the 3 best ISO scorers in the NBA, if you're going to ask me. Number 1, James Harden. Number 2, Kevin Durant, who's arguably the best pure scorer of all time. And then Kyrie Irving, who I think is the 3rd best ISO scorer in the league. We have to remember there's one basketball on the court. Who's sharing the ball? Who's dominating the ball? You're going to ask Kyrie Irving to come off the ball? Kyrie Irving's best when he has the ball in his hands, when he's dancing on the guys. He's making a move quick to the basket, finishing under the rim, probably better than anyone in the history of the game, or shooting that 3 ball, which we know it's lights out. Kevin Durant, another guy, one of the best ISO scorers in the NBA. Yeah, he's proved he could play off the ball, but are you really going to play that much off the ball where Kyrie Irving and James Harden are Super Bowl dominant? With Golden State, it was a little different. Steph and Clay are fantastic moving off the ball, coming off screens. They don't need the ball in their hands. Harden and Irving do. That's the difference. I don't like this idea at all. This is not 2K where it's, let's just stack my team. Let's custom stack my team, get the best roster possible. And it's just, I have a ton of different options. And if my team is more talented, I could probably beat my opponent. This is real life basketball. You have to be running sets. You need to build chemistry. You need to see what works for your offense. James Harden would probably have to dominate the ball because he's the best playmaker out of the 3, and that would be asking his shot volume to decrease significantly. His assists would ramp up, and his points per game would probably drop about 10 points a game. And then how are you going to make Kyrie Irving play off the ball? Kyrie Irving really can't play off the ball. Whether you like it or not, that's not his game. And Kevin Durant, no matter what way you slice it, he's a walking 26, 27 points a game. That's the kind of dude Durant is. I don't think this is helping them at all. Acquiring Harden, it looks sexy on paper. It will look great for Barclays Center. but I don't think this is in their best interest. As rosters are currently constructed right now in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm on record saying this, will sleepwalk to the finals if their two studs are healthy and Durant and Irving. Sleepwalk. There's not a team in the East that compete with them. The Heat, yeah, they got some young talent. Bam Adebayo is going to get better. Tyler Hero is going to get better. Jimmy Butler had a monster postseason. They're not matching up with those dudes in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn's deep right now as we speak today. Spencer Dinwiddie was a 20-point-per-game scorer. Karis LeVert, another great player. Joey Harris, sharpshooter. Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, great rim protectors and defenders. They are deep. They are legit. Keep the depth. I think in the NBA, the big three narrative and everyone trying to build a big three is very overrated. It looks great on paper. It thins out your roster, and whoever the third option is basically going to get thrown under the rug. Your numbers and your production are just not going to be there because the ball can only be in one guy's hands at a time. That's the reality of the situation. Yeah, again, it looks sexy on paper, but it's not in their best interest. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I want my two studs healthy. That's my first priority. Surround them with shooters. Spencer Dinwiddie, he's another guy who could create his own shot. He could play make a little bit. That's a guy I want to keep on that team. People are trying to say move him. I disagree. Keep him. The Nets are just fine the way they are constructed. If you want to add some more shooters, you can never have enough shooters, especially in today's NBA. You can never have enough shooters. I would say keep that. It stops there. The Nets are just fine. I would not trade for Harden. Now on the flip side, what is the Rockets' best interest in terms of moving Harden and Harden's best fit? A lot of people are saying this, and I agree. I want to see Harden in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform and trade him for Ben Simmons. Simmons and Embiid, that duo doesn't work. Their games don't mesh. It is what it is. The Rockets, again, like I said before, they're looking to rebuild. How about acquiring a young star in a guy like Ben Simmons, who is consensusly a top 20 player in the league? Now you're going to jumpstart with him as your main focal point, and then you could build shooters around him. Try to maybe trade for a co-star for Ben Simmons. That is what I like. That's what I like for the Rockets, and definitely I like for the Sixers. Harden and Embiid could be a legit duo. I think Harden has proved he could play with great big men. He's shown it with Clint Capella, driving to the rim, throwing lobs. I think Embiid would benefit a ton from playing with Harden if he could stay healthy. I think that's the best option for both of them. If Harden goes to the Sixers, I think the Sixers can make some noise in the East and are more of a threat to actually come out of the East. Yeah, they're going to be pretenders. I'm not picking them over the Nets. The Nets are my clear-cut favorite. I don't think anyone's particularly close. But if the Sixers want to be a top team in the East, go after Harden, whatever it takes. I would give up whatever it takes, but keep Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris is an awful contract. Al Horford is an awful contract. If you could get rid of that, that's fantastic. But if I could start my roster with Harden and Embiid, I like my chances moving forward. This offseason, off to a great start. I only expect it to get better, but we'll keep you guys posted with this Harden and Westbrook notion that they could be traded. If you agree or disagree with me, please let me know in the comment section below. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Talk to you guys soon.